of Allegiance. Okay, it's our July meeting, so it's time to reorganize the board for board chair and co-chair. And we have, newly elected people first that we're going to swear in. My bad. Let's not forget about that. That's kind of important. So this last May, folks ran again for position 2, 3, and 5. So Tim Shaw, Janet Holland, Daniel Metz. If you would like to, Tim's not here, so we're doing that next month. Other two, if you would like to stand, and we'll swear you in, get her done. That's right. That's right. Okay. We have anybody online? Okay. So I state my name, otherwise I one at a time. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the constitutional laws of the state of Oregon and the policies of the United States. During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge. During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities of the office to the best of my ability. All right. Sworn in. Appreciate your all's commitment to service. Okay, now reorganizing the board. So the board will consider nominations and select a chair for the 2025-26 school year. So I would entertain a motion for chair.
I need to like, if you want it, Tracy, again, as the vice board chair for the 2025.
I'll second that.
Awesome. Any discussion? Okay. Opposed? Anybody? All right. Motion passes. Okay, so board will consider nominations and select a vice chair for the 2025-26 school year. And I move to elect Tim Shaw as the Glide School Board Vice Chair for the 2025-26 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposed? All in favor? Yeah, motion passes. Okay. So, okay, so I believe we're moving on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, before you
Yeah.
ask for a motion, I do have an addition to the consent agenda.
Great.
We're adding 4 kitchen ranges to surplus. And then I also need to remove action item number 2, student handbooks, when we got to the last meeting.
Okay. Thank you. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. That's going to be the minutes from the last meeting, personal action, and financial report, and also surplus items.
Thank you, John. I think it's
I'll
good.
second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. And public participation. We haven't had to read this for a while. Okay, so Kendall Melvin. So normally we kind of keep it to 3 minutes, but that's kind of at the discretion, so it's our only one. So Kendall, if you wanted to come up and share with us what you wanted to talk about, or your comment?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, just talk directly, like practically on top of it.
There we go. Okay. Well, and knowing that in the interest of time and not keeping everybody here for a long time, I'm going to just kind of go off of some of the prompts because I can get sidetracked and go off on different, bunny trails and things like that. So I'm going to stick to kind of what I've prepared here and then open for any questions, whether in this meeting or outside of this. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Kendall Melvin. I am a Glide School District parent. I'm also the board secretary and treasurer for the North Umpqua Holiday Food and Gift Program. As of last year, I love to give back to this community. I've been a participant of it for a long time. And I happen to be the program director for Glide Revitalization. I've been with Glide Rev since 2021. I started with the Archie Fire Recovery, and I've had the privilege of working in almost every position within the agency, getting a lot of experience and firsthand knowledge of Clyde's community needs as a whole. I'm here first to say thank you to the school district. We've had use of the old middle school building for the last 5 years, and it's allowed our organization to actually make a really big difference in the community. It was a stand-up shop where we were able to welcome Archie Fire impacted families in right off the bat, whether it was for donation storage or talking to attorneys, so on and so forth. We had a location, and that was completely thanks to the partnership with the district. So I wanted to start by saying thank you for the time that we've had in that building. The lease expires October 1st of this year. And so what brings me here today is that we're here to request an extension of that lease. And in particular, an extension for the childcare programs that currently exist in the building. Glide Revitalization as a whole is perfectly willing to move out of the building and work remotely. However, the childcare programs that are currently operating in there have maximum enrollment at the moment, and it would be very devastating to the families to have to close the doors as soon as our lease expires. I'll get into that a little bit more. Glide Revitalization has purchased the building behind Glide Dental, and we have been renovating it and fundraising and doing a capital campaign for the last 2 years, trying to get our bearings straight and move out of the old school district building. The funding this year got very wonky because of federal money involved. At the beginning of the year, everything got completely stalled out, and so it delayed everything that we've had going. We can't start that project without putting federal dollars into it, and there's just a lot of convoluted things that I'll skip over right there, but it's because of that funding that we are delayed currently. We're hoping to open that building early next year, but we don't have a firm timeline on that yet. Right now, the programs that operate inside of our building is one classroom with UCAN Preschool Promise running it. we actually don't have a hand in the program. They just use the classroom space. It has space for up to 17 students, and they max enroll almost every year since 2022. It's a free program to the families out here in Glide. It's seen Glide School District employees' children come through there, among others. And then we also opened Little Loggers Play School. And the intention in opening that was to gear it towards meeting the working families of Glide right where they are. Our program has extended hours outside of what a preschool promise program would. It's a year-round childcare option. It's got a focus specifically on not being state funded. It gives us the ability to get the kids outside playing with their hands just like we all grew up doing rather than having to sit still at a desk. And it focuses on the rural education mindset that we all already have. We went through multiple challenges in licensing. We have had to go through the entire licensing process for UCAN itself. They did it on their own completely. You have to go through sanitation inspection. That's done at a county level, fire marshal inspections, you name it. And then we had to do it ourselves completely separately as a new program through Little Loggers Play School. And so not only did we do that one time, but we had to do it 3 times. Because the first time, we went through licensing, everything worked out great, and then we couldn't find the right staffing. Not from lack of applicants, but we didn't settle. Like if this is a childcare program, we're not gonna settle for people we don't feel like are 100% meeting our mission. So we got delayed that way. Then we relicensed in 2023. We waited a while, and we got licensed again in 2024, and that was our official permanent license. And we actually just passed again with state licensing for the 2025 through 2026 school year. So our license is active all the way through 2026. I want to hit home a little bit how much this program actually means to the community. We didn't anticipate it doing exactly what it's done, but Little Loggers Play School enrolls 20 children. We're completely maxed out right now and are actually building a wait list, and they serve 2-year-olds to 6-year-olds. We have 9 dedicated employees that without extension will face layoff. That makes me emotional. It's my intention to be here with you guys today to advocate for the families that use this program. That's 37 families, which is about 35% of your enrolling kindergartners. And I'm advocating for the staff that I spent 18 months picking and trying to find the right fit for our kiddos. I don't want them to lose their job. And this is not at the feet of the school district, and it's not at the feet of Glide Rev. It's an unfortunate circumstance of timeline. I don't want to bypass the relationship struggles that we've had as an organization and as a school district. You know, it seems like a never-ending flow of misinformation that we've all dealt with back and forth with each other. Because of that history, I don't want to skip over it. I have prepped every bit of information that I could compile on a short timeline that involves our tests that have come across, whether it's from the school district, lead testing and asbestos, or our testing that we've had done. It has every criteria that we've gone through and all of our licensing documentation that they require as a state. And each time that we've passed it, and any exceptions that we've had to make, like example playground, we have to have a state exception for that because the outside of the building still has materials on it that can't be messed with by kids. We have to be a certain distance away, so on and so forth. So I did compile that for you guys to take a look at. That way the board's able to actually make an informed decision when it comes to this. And I had spoken to Mr. Shaw, and he had specifically requested that I provide this to you, Tracy. So I'm just going to close with urging the board to consider this extension not based on a stellar relationship that we have all had in the past. But looking forward, that we have very high enrollment, and the crowd of support here today is some of our parents and some of our staff that would actually be affected by this outcome. I'm asking you to think about it for them, truly. And we are open to figuring out how the situation will work best for the whole community, not just us. So we don't have a preset notion of how long we're asking for an extension. It's, that's up to you guys. We kind of have it in our minds that, spring, somewhere in summer, we're hoping to have it completely ready to move into the other building. So yeah, we're just coming into this with no expectation and truly hoping that you guys will take it into consideration. I appreciate that you guys have heard us out on the subject. And regardless of the outcome, seriously, thank you for letting us use that facility for the last 5 years either way. Okay, thanks. That's the question.
Sure.
So just as the only person here left that went
Yes.
through the stuff, I just want to express to the library by that there was miscommunication on all parties. It was not just, the board was not fully informed, didn't have all the information during that time. So, yeah, it's definitely something should be water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. Don't even talk about it, in my opinion. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the information. I appreciate you coming today. Okay, every time around this year, usually July meeting, we do the organizational resolution. And so I am just going to read through that so everyone is aware. And then we also have this listed on the website. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is organizational resolution number 12526. Whereas the Board of Directors of Glide School District number 12 is beginning a new fiscal year, and whereas Oregon Revised Statutes allows for and requires certain organizational activities of the Board of Directors, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby approves, appoints, and/or designates the following. Number 1, Robert Freeman is hereby designated as School District Clerk. Carolyn Standish is hereby designated as School District Deputy Clerk. Carolyn Standish and Robert Freeman are hereby designated as Custodian of Funds for the 25-26 fiscal year, and the use of a facsimile signature is approved. Robert Freeman is appointed as the Budget Officer for the 25-26 fiscal year. Banner Bank, the local government pool, and Computershare Corporate Trust are designated as depositories of the district funds for 25-26. Carolyn Standish is hereby designated to apply for and receive federal funding, including but not limited to National School Lunch Reimbursement and federal commodities funds on behalf of the Glide School District. Robert Freeman is hereby designated as the local education authority to apply for and receive other federal grants, including but not limited to Title I, Title II, Title VI, Title X, and other grants on behalf of the Glide School District. Nooner, Davidson, and Cooley and Rapp, LLC is hereby designated as District Auditor for the 25-26 fiscal year. Solezi Insurance is hereby designated as District Insurance Agent of Record for the 25-26 fiscal year. Cadence Whitley, Dole Caldwell Attorneys is hereby designated as District Legal Counsel for the 25-26 fiscal year. Regular monthly meetings of the board are designated to be the third Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. Exception would be second Wednesday in December due to Christmas holiday. Special meetings of the board are scheduled as needed. This revision takes place July 16th, 2025. And I will entertain a motion to approve the organizational resolution number 125. This
I
is
move
26. and this
to-
says 56. Okay, sorry. I will entertain a motion to approve the organizational resolution 12526 as presented.
I move to approve organizational resolution number 12526 as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All approve? Motion passes. All right, superintendent goals and evaluation discussion. Oh, right, okay. So last meeting, our co-chair asked about that. So we did have a plan laid out from last year of how we would continue to evaluate the superintendent. So we had decided on kind of like quarterly executive sessions just to kind of say like, hey, how's it going? And here's some feedback from our superintendent. So it sounds like we need to maybe decide and schedule that soon because it's probably time to do that. Okay, any discussion around that?
That also would be interesting to revise
Yes.
the
Mhm.
template, basically that we used from the last time. but
Yep.
as well as-
Yeah. And that would be good, and that sounds like a whole project in and of itself. Yes. Mhm. Awesome. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, she sent a thing.
I will make an attempt if you all want to put something together, like a compilation. Just like a draft, and we put that in. And that is so if you were all in, my only thinking is that that was
Oh, well, no pressure. No pressure. Yeah. Any other?
I did think that we were going to have an executive session at some point to discuss exactly how we wanted to
Yeah.
come up with that. Well, we should schedule that either before, at a point before next meeting, or just right at next meeting. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's an idea.
Operation kind of makes sense to do it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
And then start quarterly stuff September, school start.
Mhm.
And then quarterly kind of, in my head, timeline.
That sounds good, because, well, we already have that meeting in the book, so.
Yes, so it
That'd
would
be
be a
super
big
helpful.
deal to get have an executive meeting.
Yes, sure. It's just board meeting,
yes.
not a long board.
Do we want it before or after?
after.
After? Okay,
After,
Yeah,
yeah. We get it.
so I'll put something together first, and after that's acceptable, and then we'll session.
Okay, now, any other further discussion on that?
Oh, I did want to just note that what we talked about was tying it to the strategic initiative.
Yes.
So that would be the foundation.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, now, Robert,
Okay.
superintendent report.
Yeah, a little different tonight. So I have 6 things I want to report on. And what I'd like to do is after each topic, just pause and open it up for questions or discussion guys' feedback, if that's okay. So a little different than normal. All right, first thing I want to talk to you about is the federal funding and the impact on the Glide School District. You hear in the news all the time about funds being held and not distributed to states, and what does that mean for the Glide School District? So I'm going to do the best I can to explain that. Right now, we've received all of our funds except for 5 title funds. When I say us, the state of Oregon. These funds were appropriated through Congress, but President Trump has put a hold on those, and so nobody knows what that means yet. So they're appropriated, but they're not being spent. So we're hoping, superintendents are hoping, business managers are hoping, is that because that money's been appropriated, that at some point it will flow through maybe not the Department of Education, but a different department to the states. Best case scenario, but we don't know that yet. So what does that mean for the Glide School District? So the first fund is Title 1C, and that's Migrant Ed. And Glide has never received Migrant Ed. The second title fund is Title 3, the ELL fund, English Language Learners, and Glide has never received that pot of money. And the third one I want to bring up is Title 4B, and that's the 24th Century Act money, and Glide has never received that. So those 3 funds, even being withheld, doesn't have an impact on the Glide School District. Title 5B is the rural and low income funds, and Glide did qualify for that for quite a long time, up until about 3 years ago. I think is what we decided was our last time we got payment. Since then, Glide has not qualified for those funds, and so in essence, we built our budget not expecting those funds. So in essence, that 4th one also doesn't have an impact on the Glide School District. The 5th one, our Title 2A, which is just under $29,000, does have a direct impact on our district. And that fund is titled Effective Instruction. So we have used that fund in the past for our mentor program, our Jumpstart program, our teacher training, anytime we bring in professional development for our teachers. So right now, those programs are on hold until we know what's going to happen with those funds. I will tell you a little caveat to that. Again, just to brag about our school district, our teachers, they want to have a meeting with me. We're actually having a meeting tomorrow because they don't want the mentor program to go away. So they're willing to brainstorm and come up with ideas on how to continue the program despite the funding. So I love that about this district, that they see the value in that, supporting our new teachers. And even if the money's not there, have some way of continuing that process of supporting our new hires. So that's just a kudo to the Glide School District and the quality of our teachers. So that's the title funds, the funding update and impact on Glide. Any questions over those? Must have did a really good job explaining that. All right. The second thing I want to talk about is, I'm sure you've heard that our governor has issued an executive order to ban cell phones in all schools in Oregon during the instructional day. The impact of that to the Glide School District is really minimal, other than we have a governor again telling school districts what to do. That's the bigger issue. But the impact to schools is going to be relatively small, as we already have a no cell phone policy at the elementary school, so there's 0 impact at the elementary school. We have a pretty tight cell phone policy at the middle school, high school, where students can use their cell phones before school, after school, and during non-instructional time. So that time when the first period starts and the last period ends, that's going to be the impact on our students. They've suggested things like, I'm going to back up, I'm not going to say that yet because we really haven't established a procedure. I will tell you that my philosophy is to work with students, tell them the why we're doing it, and trust that they're going to follow whatever rules we have in place. And for those students that don't follow those rules, then we'll deal individually with the students and the families. I'm not a huge blanket rule person because that impacts the kids who are doing the right thing. And I think the majority of our kids will do the right thing if we ask them to do it. All right, any questions over the cell phone executive order?
I don't know, did they actually, I mean, I don't know what her executive order actually states or not. I mean, it said no phones in school.
Correct. And it really, it's, she outlined the time period, and it's from the moment first period starts, instruction starts, through the last bell in the last period. So field trips during the instructional day, there's some gray area there. After school activities, this executive order doesn't impact. It's just bell to bell during the instructional day.
So it's through lunch and all
It is
that
through lunch. So
that
our
she
kids are
is.
used to talking and looking on their cell phones at lunchtime, where this year they won't be able to do that.
I would just say that regardless whether you like it or not, this is another example of executive overreach from Salem. This is in line with what time schools must start and all the other things that's coming from Salem. And it's just not a good fit for local governing bodies.
And that's exactly why I said it the way I said
inappropriate
it.
and out of line.
Yep.
If Glide wants to ban phones, like
We should be doing
we should be doing that, governor through executive order should not.
Can you just,
well stated.
because, having had children in school, we're not cell phone available. Just the impact that that's gonna have on the staff about taking phone calls from parents, because, I mean, I know I was on a first name basis with every
Yes.
secretary until my cell phone in high school. So I just in terms of the workload issue when it comes to family, I just also think that's something that's
Yeah, so I think you're spot on. I am really proud that the Glide School District has 3 office staff dedicated at both the high school, 3 at the high school, middle school, 3 at the elementary school. Principals will have to work with their staff to ensure that that demand doesn't overwhelm them, or they have a system in place to deal with that, which might mean they do business just a little bit different next year.
Well, did she put any teeth in this executive order? I mean, what's the,
Yeah, how is that even enforced? Except that we're expected to put a policy in our,
Yep, we're expected to come up with a policy and by October, November, and enforce that policy by January.
so if we decide to smash all the cell phones, she'll buy them for the kids with the, you know?
I was more thinking about the extra staffing costs and potentially also solve. And
Well-
I think again, there's anxiety that parents have right now in the environment that we're living in around being able to text to your kid knowing that they're going to get it at break. I mean, those are little realities. And so thinking about how we
So like I said, no impact at the elementary. I would really, Carrie's in Hawaii right now. I told him if he zoomed in tonight that he was going to be fired, but so hopefully he's not zooming in. I really trust Carrie and his staff to work not only with the staff, but also with the students and families to come up with a manageable program. And I think it's just like anything else that we've tried since I've been the leader of this district. We're going to try different things, and if it works, we're going to keep doing it. If it doesn't work, we're going to keep adjusting it until it works for everybody. And I think, honestly, I think having our kids involved in developing those rules is really going to help sell that to our organization. But everything you talked about, the anxiety of parents, I think is a real thing. And students also, not knowing they have immediate contact with their parent is going to be a real thing too.
and sports is a whole nother issue, in terms of like things change and communication.
Absolutely,
And all of
sure.
that. So I think again.
Must be a baseball mom.
It's the game Yeah,
Yep.
all of that, and so I think that that also, that, I mean, yeah, it just seems like this is not in alignment. I understand the reason, but like you're saying, if the district's managing it locally, and you're not seeing a huge problem with kids on their phones all day long, yes.
And I will say that student cell phone use has not been, well, actually, I'm going to show you a survey. A couple teachers feel like that is one of the major issues, but it's not the majority, and it hasn't come to my attention yet. So, I do think they deal with it at the building level to manage that. But I'm with you. Why are we making a big deal out of something that hopefully the district can manage? Okay. I'm trying not to get on my soapbox either.
And I was just going to say, yeah, preaching back to the choir, I absolutely, same thing that Dan said, is I'm very much for local control, local autonomy, that we should get to kind of govern ourselves in that way. And I'm sure the states feel that way when the federal government's doing stuff. So I understand the reasoning behind it. But yeah, just wanted to say that.
All right, let's move on to something a little bit more positive. So the football field lighting project has been completed. And I can't wait I know a lot of you in this room go to football games. I can't wait for your first game under the new lights. It really is. It's like you want to bring your sunglasses. It's so bright. And there's some people I want to thank for this. First, I want to thank Carrie Dwight, our high school principal. This came about because he had lunch with some of his high school principal peers in the county who just have gone through this, and they talked about different pots of money that were available to their district, and it ended up not costing the district very much money. And so he started pursuing that with Carolyn's help, and they did. They found 2 large pots of money, and we were able to do that project under $10,000 impact to the school district. So it's much needed. You guys have been to games, know that our lighting hasn't been good for years, but it's going to look really good this year. I also want to give a shout out to Brent and his crew for helping the electricians during that process when they were doing that. So I think it's going to be a really good addition to our organization. Okay. All right, number 4. You probably have never noticed it, but behind Wildcat Hall, we have a row of trees that are on our border. One of those trees was a giant oak tree. And people who have been here for years insisted that that giant oak tree has started to lean, and each year it's leaning more and more to fall right on top of Wildcat Hall. And I should have some pictures for you to show you that. You could tell by a picture if, like during a heavy snowstorm or something like that, if that tree were to give way, it would take out that entire building. And then I would have 6 classrooms that I would have to relocate. And so we made the determination to remove 2 oak trees along this side. In doing that, though, I didn't want that just to be an immediate expense to the district. And I'm kind of nostalgia with trees. I love trees. And so I wanted to make sure we repurposed the wood. And that was really important to me and my team. So we contracted with Cowboy Tree Removal. They were amazing to work with. Super talented. If you've ever seen a tree trimmer work, it's absolutely amazing. Up on a boom. It was really cool. They were able to cut our wood into lengths and stack it. So now we can make that wood available to some of our clubs or organizations or sporting teams to use for a fundraiser, maybe in an auction or something like that. If they want to cut it up, split it, and then sell it. So I love that idea of giving back to our groups to use that for a fundraiser. But even better than that, Brent was able to track down a local person who mills wood, actually right past the elementary school. And that gentleman is a Glide graduate, and he is super excited to help us out by not only milling the wood, but donating that wood back to the high school wood shop for kids to make projects out of. So if you have time after the meeting, you can walk behind Wildcat Hall, and it's not the first pile, it's the second one, and you can see the round that we have. It's super straight. It's about 25 to 30 feet long, so we're going to get a ton of wood out of that and hopefully make some really cool projects. And we avoided the damage to a building. Any questions about the oak tree?
That's a win-win.
As you are aware, we are in the process of doing facility assessments. Those assessments are twofold. One, they give us really good data to understand the instructional impact and how instruction interacts with our facilities. And two, it sets us up for if we do go for a bond in the community and we're successful, then we're eligible for the Awesome Grant, which is on top of the money that we generate through a capital improvement bond. What you see in front of you is really, really raw data, but we surveyed our licensed staff and just asked them a series of questions on how things are going in the Glide School District. And we just took their answer for each question verbatim and wrote them down. Our next step is to work with Quest Engineer, that's who we're contracted with, to then categorize those responses and start coming up with some ideas on projects that we can go out to the community and talk about how a capital improvement bond will improve the instruction within our buildings. So, long process, lots of opportunities for staff and community members, and most importantly, students to have input on those projects. But I just wanted to show you an example of us getting started on that process. Lots of information there. So it's
This is good information. This is awesome.
Not surprisingly, but our staff really gave some insightful answers and useful, not just trivial answers. They really put some thought into it. Some of them did it individually, some of them worked in groups, teams, and came up with things. And like I said, as you would expect, there was just some really good nuggets in there. Okay. Well, and what I didn't tell you is we really got down to the wire on the survey as far as when I had access to the staff. So we asked them to do that as part of their checkout for the summer. So I didn't get any super negative feedback on that, but I do appreciate them taking that time. Right? Well, they kind of did that, but they took it serious and put thought into it. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is both principals came to me about the middle of this year. Kerry had a pretty good chunk of time under his belt. Of course, Tammy's been in the district for a long time. And both of them were really concerned about the length of the school day for our students. And so looking at their schedules and trying to solve a couple issues. One main issue was the amount of time elementary students are on a bus after school. They get on the bus at the elementary, they come here and they sit for quite a while. Some students are on the bus 20 minutes before students even start loading the bus in. So, super long day for our littles at the elementary school, and even our bigs. You don't sit for so long during the day. Our teachers do a great job of making the instruction engaging, but they both looked at their schedule to try to figure out if there were some ways to trim some time down. They were able to figure out about 15 minutes to shorten the day. And what that will do is, again, it will cut down the amount of time students are on the bus after school. It brings their start time a little bit closer. The elementary was able to shave that time by doing breakfast in the classroom, which I think is going to improve the amount of kids that eat breakfast. And the high school and middle school is not going to do a success period that they've traditionally done, and condensing that time. So, like I said, it's about 15 minutes a day. We're still well within our mandated Division 22 hours, and it still gives us a buffer there too if we have inclement weather and you guys have the discretion of making that day up. So anyway, that's, I just wanted to make sure you knew we were talking about that. In August, we're going to bring handbooks to you. In that handbook will be the new schedules for the day. So just to give you a heads up on that.
How does that start school?
Yep, both actually. Yep, both. So, Amy, I don't know if you want to jump in or not. But your difference is they're going into the classroom and then doing breakfast. At the end of the day, is what you're excited about. Oh, that's on my notes. Sorry. No, I forgot it. Thanks.
That's great.
That's all I have. I kind of like that format actually, when we just talking the whole time, give you guys time to ask questions and go through that. So,
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited about all these things that are happening.
thanks.
Shortening that time. I remember my kid having to be on the bus the way there and the way home for a really long day. So that's awesome. Okay. Carolyn, with the financial report, you're going to tell us all the good news, right?
Actually, it is good news.
Good.
We're ending the year strong, which is nice going into our new year. We have a healthy beginning fund balance, higher than what I was anticipating, which is awesome, which can kind of help offset with maybe some of the monies that we may not receive. So, and then, so you guys have that. You, as usual, if you guys have questions, let me know. The question I have for you guys, past practice is that once the budget's all adopted, we used to print a lot of copies and hand them out to everybody, but my experience is maybe you guys don't need something to help you go to sleep at night. So maybe you don't need a printed budget, but I would like to know if anybody, it's posted on the website, you can go and look at the budget there, but if you want a printed copy, if you could let me know. I'm gonna be printing them probably early next week, so if you guys want one, let me know and I'll print one for you. Otherwise, we'll have a couple of printed copies at the district office, and then of course it's available online. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we are on to individual board member reports. Does anyone want to start that or chime in?
One is, I just wanted to put in a plug for baseball, and us that were at the playoff game. It got dark for most of the day. We were actually like, oh my goodness, I don't know this before it gets too dark for them to basketball. So I just wanted to put in that plug that I did the baseball film and sites as well. And then also just a plug that we have the Oscar reunion coming up.
That's
next
right.
weekend. And I'm hoping that a lot of folks are going to be there. I don't know if we're doing it. I mean, as a board, we did talk about, I don't know, we don't have any goal, but maybe we should, I don't know. I haven't been involved in planning any of that part of it too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any history of that or anything.
I don't think so. Yeah. I
I
think
just think it would be maybe an opportunity for a club right now, given how crazy times are, reminders that, folks can help contribute to the school and
They also have yearbooks, leftover yearbooks for sale, just saying. Got myself my senior yearbook that I was missing, so. Yay. And my family members are going, so.
So,
Mhm.
I just didn't know if we went into something about it. For the folks that are coming, that aren't here, you know, on a regular basis, just to leave that they felt like they wanted to do or something for the school. Gatherings, scholarships,
Hmm.
yeah, just as a reminder, yeah. For the coming into, is there, maybe more scholarships or something like that?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I got nothing, we kind of covered, so.
Yeah. Yeah. really messed up. Sorry.
And elderly as well, but especially. If they're not going to have access currently to some of the access.
And maybe some of our kiddos' parents, if they work for the hospitals or any kind of health industry around here, because it will impact rural communities the most, so. Think of something good to say and on a better note. Yeah. We're going to figure things out. We're going to figure things out for our kiddos. We always do. No too much of a report from me. I'm going to the OSBA summer conference representing the Rural Caucus, and I'll keep you all posted on that, how that goes. All right, I'm going to say meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.